Everybody, my name is Matthias. I'm the founder of Aardling, and I'm here with my colleagues Hilde, who's in charge of running our training operations, Isabel, who's doing the marketing, Ricardo, who's in charge of business development and sales, and of course Thomas, who is the lead instructor of the DDD Accelerator course. So welcome, thanks for joining, for watching this later if you're on video. Maybe I want to just introduce why we designed this course. So we organize, of course, training through DDD Europe Academy, various topics on DDD. But with Aardling, our company, we also do a lot of private training for companies. You know, the very large companies, we train like 200, 300, 400 people a year. But with smaller companies, what often happens is there may be 20, 30, 40 people. We train them, we do some consulting for them, and then they start growing. And of course, the new recruits are not up to date yet. The people who were there are getting more advanced and applying DDD, etc. But they hire new recruits, and they can't like organize a private training for that for those people, because maybe 2 or 3 people per quarter. And that's how these conversations started, that they wanted something where they could be trained and skilled up, catch up basically with the original team, and at the same time not disrupt the existing development, etc. And that's sort of, and they wanted something complete where everybody would know everything. So that's how we built this thing, right? We started having this conversation of what should be in there and how would it work, and we designed the course based on that. So I'll give the word now to Thomas, who is the lead instructor for the DDD Accelerator course, and he will tell you a bit more about what it is and how it works. And of course, you can ask any questions you like. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Matthias. I'll immediately start sharing my screen. There's not going to be too much information on the screen. I'll talk mostly and explain things mostly, but like Matthias said, if you have like questions, you can either post them in the chat or just ask them, and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. So yeah, Matthias already did the introduction on Aardling, so I'll not repeat that again. Yeah, we're talking about DDD Accelerator, of course. So again, like I said, not too much information on the slides. I'll try to explain mostly what we're doing here. So what is the DDD Accelerator? It's a bit of a different style of training than that we have so far, or that some of the other public trainings that we have, in that this is a very immersive course. We're doing a domain-driven design training from the ground up, basically. We are starting from code, teaching code things like we're doing some pair programming, test-driven development, refactoring. And then we grow into tactical patterns. How do we design these tactical patterns? How do we design our code? And we basically, over 3 months, we grow our knowledge of domain-driven design and go deeper and deeper and deeper until at the end, hopefully, you have lots and lots of practical knowledge that you can apply in your own teams and that you can apply immediately. That's a very important thing in this course. We take a lot of time. It's not a short course. It's 1/2 day per week. One of the things we definitely try to do differently is that there are lots of exercises where you can immediately apply the things that we've seen in the sessions, with the goal of you being able to apply that knowledge in your team immediately. So that is really an important aspect of this is course. It's not just theory. We're doing lots of exercises as well. Oh, sorry, that was not my goal here. Yeah, click the wrong button. Okay. Quickly on who would benefit from this. So it's a course for developers. We're like I said, we're starting from code. We're doing coding in the training as well, of course. So it's definitely for developers. And our main goal is, for example, let's say you're a company and you need to hire some new engineers and you want to get them up to speed really quickly, then this is really an intended audience. Maybe you're a freelance software engineer, or you're starting on a new project and you want to get into DDD, but also immediately grab a lot of practical information, then this is also for you. Sometimes we get like the question, hey, I already know some DDD, is this still beneficial? And then it's, of course, yeah, we need to check this together. But I would say for some people, even if you already know some DDD, it might be beneficial, especially if you haven't been able to apply it a lot yet, or if you're not sure if you're applying it correctly. Because again, like I said, we're doing lots of things together. We're going deep. We're really looking towards that practical knowledge. We do some, so some of them are in pseudocode, so then it doesn't really matter. And the others, we basically provide Java, C# and TypeScript. We try to, at the beginning of a course, look at what the known programming languages are the participants know. And if we see like, okay, there are lots that have experience with some language, we can also accommodate for other languages as well. Okay. Yeah, so that is about programming language. I would say it doesn't matter that much. Like one of the things we do, of course, in the training is we work together. Yeah? Like it's pairing in the beginning and mob or ensemble programming. So that also means that almost all exercises are in groups. And small groups. And of course, we try to assemble groups so that you know the same kind of language. But if you like don't know too much of a language, but you're able to read it, it's still something you're going to be able to participate in without any issues. Okay. So I was talking about who will benefit, and I think I was mentioning like, yeah, what is like for people who already know it, that it's also that it still can be very valuable if you, especially if you want to have that deeper dive. Yeah, I'll try to now talk a little bit about how we approach this course, and I've just grabbed a couple of screenshots from the Miro board so that you can have like some impression on how it looks. Basically, every blue block that you see on top is like a that's like one topic for one day, and you can see lots of the exercises going on there. Like I said, we start with the pairing and ensembling, going into test-driven development, refactoring, then tactical patterns. Then we do lots of design level event storming with the goal of reaching a design that can be implemented in code. We also design bounded context. So we talk about what are bounded contexts, go into that. We also look at bounded context maps. So we're at a higher level of design then, and also go into big picture event storming. Now, one of the things we do, of course, is like there is lots of knowledge that we give there. We try to do enough exercises, but like like in the whole course, there are like 2 bigger exercises where one session you as a group are going to complete one bigger exercise that's evaluated and afterwards. So you can see here, you get some assignment, you get a problem and domain that you need to do, and then you work on it for a whole session. So that's also part of the course. So it's not just the theoretical plus practical sessions. Some of the sessions are pure exercise. And maybe one other thing that's relevant to know is that for most of the sessions, I also provide a very small bit of homework. It's not a big thing, but it's like, after every session, I try to put some homework that takes you like 15 to 30 minutes to complete. But that's basically, looking into either a topic that we're going to approach the next time, or for example, one example of the homework was like, apply some of the things we saw right now together with your team. So that, again, with that goal of like immediately, everything you see and learn should be applicable as soon as possible. I have a question. The description of the course talks about test-driven development, but is not domain-driven development. And it's all right, of course, but what other aspects will be talked about that aren't domain-driven development? For example, behavior-driven development, team organization, agile lean. We're not talking too much about those other things. So I would say that the main things that are not really domain-driven development per se are pairing and ensembling, test-driven development, and refactoring. The reason we actually start with these is because we want to start from a good base. If we are going to apply domain-driven design, it's also important that we don't ignore everything around it. And so we find that at least those things, test-driven development, refactoring, and the pairing, are like the minimum base that we want to establish to build on. Sometimes we will touch on things like behavior-driven development. And when we're talking about bounded context maps, we will also talk about team organization. I definitely mention like how do agile and lean relate to domain-driven design, but I'm not like, we don't spend any time on explaining those or going deeper into them. I will mention though, so one of the things I try to do, we have enough sessions to go into detail, like I also try to keep some space for bigger questions of the audience. So like in the last sessions, if people are interested, like, hey, I have an interesting case here. We're working in a specific way. Hey, we're doing sprints. How would we apply the event storming to those sprints? Those are definitely topics that are also part of the course. But of course, we try to relate them to the DDD as well. Okay. Let me see. I have, so that's another example of some exercises people did. So here are like the main topics. I forgot to say, of course, we're also talking about what is DDD exactly and what are we doing. Just as what is DDD? It's a big thing, and it's a long course, so it's something we explain along the way. We really start with practical things from the get-go, so that every session again is something you can take away to your team. And that's also like, that's some of the feedback that I've got from people, like, okay, it was really nice being in these sessions, because like the next day I came to my team and I could tried to apply some of those things, and they themselves then got valuable feedback from their team. Hey, that's nice that we can now try this and do this. Okay, any other questions about content, or yeah, who is it for? Well, I'll see them appear on the chat. It's oops, it skips that one. I'll first. So yeah, are there any other questions or comments so far? Yeah, I'll see them appear. Yeah. So yeah, some practical things. Yeah, if you need to know about just our options, you can find. Yeah, you can contact us at these email addresses, and of course, let me jump to the website as well. Here on the website, you can also find all the information, and you can see that the next iteration of the course starts the beginning of March, and it will end at the end of June. So normally right in time for people who take like holiday breaks in July and August. So that's when the next course starts. Okay, I'll stop my screen share for a second and just see if people have questions or comments.
Maybe worth mentioning that the underlying idea is, of course, that good software design makes you faster, and that was also what got into this, right? People talking to us about how they started noticing with some teams, seeing the benefits of over time doing DDD, doing better modeling, doing collaborative modeling like event storming, introducing more tests, having better domain language, and they start saying how they could actually now move faster and implement features faster, because of course if you can look at the code and understand how it works and how it relates to the domain, that makes changes much easier. And so that was also like the main question that we try to answer when designing this, right? How do we teach these techniques, not just for the sake of them, but how can this all work together to make everything more understandable, have better models, and use that to speed up development. So I guess that's why it's been mostly popular with companies that like the ones that we had these conversations with right in the beginning, that were sort of the start of this, and who are still like usually every quarter they send maybe 1 or 2 people to this course. But it's like the typical startup that starts moving fast, and then as they grow, it becomes slower and harder to do things, and they have some legacy, and they have new people who maybe were not there from the beginning, so they don't understand the full system and the whole domain, and that's sort of part of it, right? It's skills, but also how do these skills relate to the context of a scale up of a or in larger companies when they are doing like a new project or a new thing.
Maybe
that's the idea.
Yeah, maybe what's also worth mentioning is that like every iteration, like we have some groups from a company that join, and also some individuals that join on their own, and like one of the things we of course also try to do is exchange knowledge between all the participants. It's not just me who is teaching, it's also making sure that we try to gather all the knowledge that's in the group and exchange them. And I've found that that mix of individuals and people working as a team and a company also makes for great experiences and like good discussions about very practical things, because that's, again, like Matthias said, the idea is we want to get you moving faster, faster and still maybe even with higher quality. So it's not just we want you to move faster, we want you to move fast, but with a good quality, of course.
Move
Otherwise,
fast sustainably. That's
yeah, fast and sustainable. We want you to keep being able to keep moving fast in the long run.
Which is the point of good software design, most of it,
yeah,
right? It's
yes,
everybody can go fast for a few weeks, but
yeah, the goal is indeed that you stay sustainable. And I would say that like those practical questions that come then, like, hey, we already tried some of those stuff at our team and this failed or this failed. That's something that we also definitely try to do and approach in here. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like there's no other questions. So yeah, if you can always contact us, of course, if you do have questions, or contact Ricardo for it's at sales@aardling.eu if you want to talk sales, basically. Like we do things if you're paying out of pocket, if you're like a freelancer or something, or if you have a team, or we can come up with options, payment plans, if that helps. Yeah, and this is like I lost count, the 4th edition we're doing, or the 5th by now, 4th probably. And yeah, people seem to be coming back and enjoy it and learn a lot. So it's probably one of the most well, it's definitely the largest, most extensive DDD course in the world. We haven't found anybody who's doing anything like this, but clearly there's a need for it. So yeah, so everybody, thanks for joining or for watching this later. And yeah, just contact us if you want to know more.
Thank you. See you
See you
later.
all.
Bye.
Have a good day.